Здравствуйте, уважаемые любители шахмат. Меня зовут Илья Левитов, вы на канале Levitov Chess. Недавно закончился турнир Гранд Суис на острове Мэн, который выиграл индийский шахматист Видит Гуджрати. Как вы знаете, сейчас в Индии невероятный бум шахмат, очень похожий на то, что происходило в нашей стране, в Советском Союзе в 30-х, 40-х, 50-х годах, когда страна охвачена шахматной лихорадкой. Видит не принадлежит к поколению, которое сейчас у всех на слуху, поколение 16-летних, 17-летних шахматистов, которые постепенно захватывают ведущие позиции в шахматном мире, таких как Прагнананда, Киригаиси и так далее. Но, тем не менее, это элитный шахматист 2700+, который практически никогда не выпадал за свою карьеру из 2700+, и в последнее время он стал добиваться действительно больших результатов и отобрался в турнир претендентов, который состоится весной в Канаде. Я, честно говоря, с индийскими шахматистами, кроме Вишванатана Ананда, особо не знаком. С Виши мы дружим, я брал у него интервью, он играл 2 раза в моем турнире, вообще находимся с ним в контакте. Мне было очень интересно пообщаться с Видитом, и благодаря нашему новому индийскому другу это интервью состоялось, и нам удалось поговорить с победителем Большой швейцарки на острове Мэн Видитом Гуджрати. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. I'm pretty sure you're very busy now.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have to be busy after winning a tournament. So no complaint.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. Unleash your potential.
Yes. So it's a meditation app which I use, and I've been using it for 3 years almost, continuously missing a single day. And there's more than meditation, breath work, doing some kind acts. So it's all inclusive.
So use
Yeah.
So this is a message to all young chess players in the world. Just use Black Lotus app and you will unleash your potential and win the Grand Swiss and qualify for the candidates, yeah?
I think so, yes. It will take time. It took me some years, but it does happen.
So and seriously speaking, what is the percent of the psychological in your game? I mean, how does psychology affect your game, particularly your game? Not just overall chess players, but you particularly.
That's a good question. I think it does affect quite a lot. I strongly believe that how you are as a person comes and reflects in the chessboard. The personality. You can see that from the opening choice. Like Gary, for example, was a very aggressive player, and he was a very strong-minded person as well. And you could see that when he played must-win situations or very high-stakes situation, he was able to impose himself over the opponent. That dynamism or that aggressiveness, he could do that. If I have to take another example, I would say Peter Liko, who is a very soft spoken, very complete opposite of, let's say, Gary's personality. Very sensitive, very kind, I mean very easygoing, very soft, and that you could see that he would prefer more of end games, more of control over the chessboard rather than a chaos. So I feel that it reflects your personality, and the same goes for me, I feel. So if I change it, it changes the game as well. So psychology does play a role, I would say, on how I am.
Are you more Leko or more Kasparov?
So I'm more Liko, although I admire Kasparov's games a lot. So I have
He's your
grown
favorite
up.
player, yeah? In
Yes.
terms of chess, yeah?
In terms of chess, yes, I really admire his games. But if I think about personality, I'm closer to Liko, but I'm still working on it. I wouldn't say that it's the final. And personality keeps changing over the years as you grow. So that's why your playing style also evolves. So I'm trying to become more universal, not just stick to one thing.
How do you change that?
I think it's initially when I.
Except for Black Lotus, of course.
So initially, when I thought that I have to make this change in my personality or I have to work on myself other than chess, I thought it will be the easy thing to do. Like, okay, I change this and then everything changes. But then I realized that maybe I can add opening preparation, I can add work on end games. That is easier than changing personality because our tendencies are so strong because we have repeated those so many times that it has become a habit. And to break a habit is not easy. It takes, like, you have to hit with a hammer continuously and then it breaks. It's a very strong tree, which will not break with just one
Well,
hit.
no, yeah, but how do you do it? I mean, inside the game, you just sit and you think, okay, position is okay. Okay, I need to push. I need to play like Gary. I need to sacrifice a pawn and get a messy position, and maybe something will get out. And how does it work in the mind of a chess player?
So I would say that it is not conscious during the game that you want to sacrifice, or I mean, maybe at first when you're trying to make that change, it will be a conscious effort. Like, let's say somebody who comes under a lot of time pressure. At first, he will have to be conscious that, okay, I have to play quickly, I have to play quickly. But it doesn't come naturally. He will still be thinking, uh, because it's the habit. He's a perfectionist. He wants to play the best move. But initially, you have to push yourself, push, 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 and then eventually it becomes effortless. Then you start playing fast. But it takes a lot of time to make that change. And it same goes for any other trade. I think even for time pressure, somebody who comes continuously in time pressure, he needs to somehow uh, force himself in training, and then in the initial couple of games it will backfire actually, because you're trying to play fast, which is not natural, and then you'll not figure out which move I have to play quickly, which move I have to take time, and you will be impulsive in the wrong vision, but that will be learning. And when you learn a lot over a period of time, then you get that instinct where you have to play fast. It's about making it a habit that it's not conscious anymore, that automatically you find it. Let's say for Gary, in Sicilian, he had such a great feeling of the position that he just knew when to sacrifice a pawn. It was not conscious that I have to. It was just like, he had the sense of initiative, um, very strong sense. Let's say for Anand, I feel that he just knows where to put which piece. Like, always, his position is harmonious. For Magnus as well. This feeling they have developed over the years, I would say. Like, there are some aggressive players, like Firuja, in the current generation, or Topalov, who was very good in feeling the initiative in Sicilians, for example. So yeah,
What
it's.
do you think? Well, what do you think? How much is talent? How much is work in chess?
Um, I have had this debate with some of my friends where they feel that it's a lot about talent, that you are gifted. Um, Maybe there is some truth to it, but the percentage of how much it is, I feel it's less. Maybe it could be 5 to 10%. Of course, genetics do play a role. There's
But
no
not
doubt.
too much, yeah.
I would say not too much. It's more about how you train, and it helps, like, the environment you are in. How you have learned growing up chess, like growing up, how you have learned chess. The environment you're in, that plays a role without a doubt. But after a certain point, it's a skill. Maybe you have an advantage if, let's say, you're born, or in a country or in a place where chess is thriving. Of course, you have that environment for growth. Maybe you are naturally inclined to a game of chess, which is like intellectual stimulation. But I think most of the skill is cultivated. It's not like you're born with it.
So you were speaking about popularity of chess in the country. When you started playing chess in India, there was basically one name, Vishy, yeah, and now it's a whole story. It's not only Vishy; it's a lot of players. It's you. It's the youngsters that came. So when was this switch? When did it happen? this Indian chess miracle? When did it start for
Um,
you?
for me, so it was Vishy for the longest period of time. In the early 2000s, there was a period where Hari Krishna, who was growing very fast, he was a promising player. Then Humpy in the women, she was one of the stars. Um, but the problem was there were like one or two people who had reached, let's say, 2700 and not gone beyond that. So there were talents, but not like a force of people.
Hmm.
I feel then there was the next generation where it was me, Adiban, Seturaman, all these similar age group people. But then again, not everyone could break through. But with this current generation, which has come, like who are born after 2000, 2003, 5, 7, something like this, they are much more closely matched. Like there's not much difference between Prag, Gukesh, Arjun, Nihal. You know, they keep changing. I'll not be surprised that every rating list the top four will be in them. And I think it's pushing them also that he's doing well, then I should also work harder. And this competition is in fact helping them to become better. So I feel right now you see a force of people, and even the younger generation, I can see that it's some generation which is going to overthrow the old people who were there. I mean, they overthrow as in like cross them or stabilize themselves in the top. It's not just that they have come and they have some good results and then they'll go down. It's not like that. Of course, they have already
You
reached.
never know. You never know.
You
No?
never know, of course, but I feel that they are going to stay in the top level for a long time.
I mean, everybody was talking about this young Indian generation, but you qualified from the Grand Swiss, which was a surprise for some people. So
Yes,
I've seen some people going up in the top 10 over the years, and then they couldn't survive there because going to top 10 is one thing, but staying there and playing in the same tournaments with the best, with like now it's Carlson, Caruana, Nepo, everybody else. So it's a different thing, and you never know, will this guy who is extremely talented, he's 16, 17, he's crushing everybody, but then he comes up and something happens.
yes, it's
It's
always a
not,
possibility. There's no doubt, and that's why for myself it was very important to win this tournament and have this confidence that in the world's best open tournament, world's strongest open tournament, that I can score 7 wins, and I still have got it. So it was a huge confidence booster for me.
is a confidence a problem for you?
Um, so confidence in general, I'm confident. Let's say if I have to speak with someone or in general setting, or have to do, but in chess or in any sport, I would say that confidence also comes from good results. I mean, you can be a very confident personality, let's say like Parham, for example. He is super confident, like
Super
doesn't,
confident, yeah. Yeah,
he's having
super confident.
-2 position, -3, it doesn't matter to him. He'll just think that he's winning. And
Yeah.
Dubov, for example, who is also very optimistic, he would always think, like I had a conversation with him once when we were together in China. He felt like he can defeat anyone, and for him defeating Magnus was the biggest motivation back then, and he
Yeah, for sure.
honestly believed that he can do it. So that for me was a bit surprising back then. I mean, of course it's a very good goal to have. So some people are naturally over optimistic, and that shows in the game how they play. I would say I'm more balanced, and when I have a bad result, it does affect my confidence, because not just one, like over a period of time, let's say you're not having the success you want. I, for example, never dropped below 2700, touch wood, but it was never like I was making the big jump either. I was going to 2740, coming back to 2720, and I was like just fluctuating there and without having a big result. So I was rethinking that what's wrong. So I was not totally confident. But now after this win, I feel much better about my game, and in general, I
But
feel
what was wrong? What was wrong before?
um
It seems like something you found some really like your spot, like balanced spot where you can unleash your potential. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened? Is it hard work? Is it I don't know. I'm seriously speaking. Is it some meditation you are doing? Is it some new coach, new girlfriend? I don't know. What happened?
I was always working hard, so that was never really the changing factor. I worked smarter now, for sure.
What do you mean by that?
So I was doing a lot of things during the COVID, the pandemic. I was streaming a lot. I was running my YouTube channel. I was doing like 10,000 things at a time. And I realized that to become what I want to become, I'll have to sacrifice something. So I stopped it for now, for some time already. So that probably gave me more time. Although it came at a cost, I was okay to pay that cost. Um,
So you focused on chess,
and
yeah?
yes, I was always focused in a way, but maybe more clear about what I want.
And what do you want?
I was not that well. I'll tell that once I achieve it, and then. But let's say what happened in Grand Swiss is one of the stepping stones towards what I want. It's one of the important milestones. So working hard, I always did. I always put in the hours, but now I was more efficient, more focused effort. Um, I was always doing meditations. So it's been for 3 years I've been doing it. So I don't know if that is the change. Um, um, personal life, it's going up and down many times. So
It does
I,
affect the
I
game, yeah?
yes, it does. It does affect the game. It takes away your time. If it's so, I mean, even if it's a good relationship or a bad
Yeah.
relationship or anything, just take your time because. But thing is, with that time, do you get positive influence or you get a negative influence? If you can get support from there as well, or something where you feel exhausted after it, so it can be either ways. So it's very important. For me, personal life is also very important, and I would want that more of positive energy comes from that area of my life. Um, but that's still, I would say, not so sorted as of now. So it's uh, I'm, I don't know how it will go.
Nobody
uh,
knows.
but what it was accumulation of minute changes in everything, like how I worked, how much time I gave, which tournaments. Like for example, this year is the highest number of tournaments that I've ever played. It was more than 350 plus competitive games, including online as well, little bit,
It's a
but
lot.
most of it was
That's a
offline.
lot.
Most of yeah, it's a huge amount of games. Like I have not been home for a longest time, and even now when I came home, I'm here only for 2 days. So I am abroad all the time. Like I'm playing much, much, much more. So I think all these changes somewhere, everything clicked and came together
So
in Grand
playing a lot
Swiss.
is turned out to be a good thing for you. No?
Um, yes, I would say it. It came at a cost of health and stress, because it's not easy to continuously travel all the time. But it was the price I was willing to pay because time is important in sports, and I wanted to give more chances to myself. Previously, I used to play much less, but now the world is like every week there is a tournament, and it's just the calendar is so full.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll slow down and find a bit of more balance because this is not sustainable. The What I'm doing, like I cannot do this every year or every month. It's one of the push that I use and then stabilize somehow and then find the balance. Because if I keep doing this, I know that my body will not be able to take so much of travel and stress and play.
Because there are players who, I mean, there were players who played a lot. I'm sure there are now. Maybe I cannot remember. But for example, Ivanchuk was playing like every day he could. In every tournament he
Okay.
could. So he was playing real. So I'm saying that there are players who learn through the games, and there are players who stay at home for 3 months, go to one tournament, play it, and then go back to their home and preparing. So which type are you? Or you are changing now, yeah, a bit.
Yes, I'm changing. I was in the latter part where I used to prefer, like, training and going to the game. like after, like, let's say 1 month of preparation or and so on. um, I prefer that. Even now I would prefer if that is an option. But I would say the times are changing, because opening theory is evolving so fast that what you have prepared a month ago might be played already, or there are just so many lines that people can play that it will not come over the board immediately. So it's not necessary that if you spend like 2 months preparing for something, the next tonight is guaranteed success. Previously, it was harder. The opening preparation was much harder. Um, the engines were not so strong, and before that, there were no engines. So the work, let's say people did for 1 month or something, it used to be very, very good for a long period of time. But nowadays, you can prepare a line with just few opening clicks if somebody's like skilled at it, opening preparation, and they can have seconds. So preparing lines has become much faster. Now the challenge is to condense all this information in your head, because there's so much. Previously, the amount of knowledge used to be much little, like let's say 400 line moves in a one line, and but nowadays you can have everybody's playing all the openings: Sicilian, E45, Eden E45, Marshall, Berlin, Open Spanish. All these lines they are playing. In Sicilians, they're playing Naidov, Sveshnikov. So it's like so much, and this is just with black against one E4. The same goes with E4, and with white you're playing a lot. So it's easier, but to prepare, but to be able to play all of it, um, and to have that information in your head for a long time is harder. So that's why maybe playing more helps, because then you can play the ideas that you have prepared much faster, and then move on, and then you develop the experience of a lot of lines.
When I was watching Grand Swiss, I saw that you're very nervous during the games. Is that true?
Am I
Yeah,
nervous?
no, you're not. You seem like you are intense, like body language, especially closer to time control. Or is it changing?
Oh,
I saw your interview with Sagar. So you're saying that he is saying, I'm not sure it's true, that you've changed a bit. Yeah. So you were nervous, and now you're a lot more in control during the game, during tough moments like time control, or the moment you understand you are winning. It's also exceptionally hard for some players to to realize that yes, I'm winning. I just need to find two moves, and I'm there. And then when it collapses for some people. Was it a problem for
right.
you before?
Yes. Yes. I've had many occasions where I had a good position and sometimes winning position, and I did not convert. It also depends, because let's say I was playing a lot of rapid events, and in rapid events it's much harder to have the precision which is required. But even in classical, it used to happen at times. Let's say you play a tournament in the Gulf countries or in China, they don't have additional time control after move 40, in many of the tournaments. So already when there is a conversion phase, it's harder, because you have less time, so you're going to make more mistakes. But for some people, they are still very good at that, because they are able to manage their time better. Or when that situation comes, like for example, Jan Christoph Duda, he's very, very good when it comes to last 10 seconds. He's able to be so relaxed, and he is one of the best, I would say, in the terms of quality of moves under time pressure. Him, Magnus, Hikaru. So there are some people who are very good at it. So it's a skill. I felt that it was not at the level I wanted. So definitely I was more nervous before. Um, but now I feel I'm becoming better. There's still scope for improvement, no doubt. But I feel I've become better. Like there was a match with Anish that I had in Mumbai, which Sagar had organized. It was a death match, and they had put like Apple watches on us, and they were recording the heart rate while we were playing. Um, and my heart rate highest was, I think, 175 plus, which is just unhealthy.
Yeah, I have this when you
And
run really really fast, and for like kilometer I have this I have this pulse. Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a
okay,
lot.
yes, and I mean, when you're running, it's understandable. Like on a treadmill, it's natural that when you run, it's at least 140, 150. Zone two. Um, but like just sitting, and that you're in a resting position physically, your heart rate is going so up. it's not cannot be healthy, I would say. So something was off. Like there was some nervousness, I would say. And in the next tournaments, when I worked on it, it went down. So it was maximum was 130, and it used to stay between 90 to 110 on an average during the game, even though it was rapid and
So
blitz.
what did you do?
And if
How did
uh,
you do that? It's a secret.
um, no, the thing is, it's not a secret. Everyone knows that I meditate and I work on that part, mental aspect, even psychological um, things like how I said working on your personality helps. Um,
Interesting.
like yeah, so when this situation comes, you're more. It's a very specific training that you know that this is a problem and you try to solve it. I would say that there's still a lot that I can do better. Like I would be interested to see now how much does my heart rate go, because the data which I shared with you is still like a 1 year old data. So I haven't tested it in recent times. So I think it's very interesting for spectators also to have their heart rate measured of
Absolutely.
players to watch it.
Absolutely.
That's very interesting. I think more tournaments should do that.
I saw
I feel.
we had a tournament here in Moscow called Armageddon. It was a few years ago, I think maybe 5 years ago, something, maybe even more. I don't remember. So they were measuring the heart rate, and it was interesting that, for example, Dubov had an extremely high heart rate, extremely high lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
like 150 all the time. And Kramnik, it's interesting. It was very interesting to watch Kramnik because he had like one before the game he had 135, 140. And yeah,
Wow.
for a few minutes. And then the game started and it was 120. And it stayed 120 till the end, till the last move. And it was blitz. It was like very, very intense blitz for some quite a lot of money. I mean, of course, it's not playing against Kasparov in the World Championship, but still, he was nervous. But his pulse was like very steady. I vividly remember, and I thought that this is probably the like part of the psychology of a top player. Just when you can be as nervous as you want before the game, but once you are playing, that's it. You're in the mood, you're in the zone, and you are like making the moves on a very very steady psychological level. Probably it's very important.
Yeah, it's very interesting. In fact, to see. I think Hikaru also had very high, and I would have expected Daniels to be much
Me
lower.
too. Me
I'm
too. Yeah.
surprised that actually Nordirbek, when they measured it, it was surprisingly low, like 70 and 90.
Sev- just
Very,
70,
very good.
not 170,
Yes,
70.
no,
But that's
70
not
and
good. But
90.
that's not good, I think, for your game.
I think it's
For
good.
your game, it's not good.
I
You
think
should be nervous. You should be a little bit nervous. You should be a little bit inspired, nervous. It should affect your pulse. I mean, otherwise, you're just sitting in the chair smoking cigar before the chimney. I mean, it's you're playing a game.
no, but I mean, I feel like that just shows that you're relaxed. No, I mean, you can take better decisions. Slight nervousness is good. Let's say maybe it used to go 70 to 90, but it was much on the lower side. Um, and Parham, when I played with him in the same tournament, it used to start at 130,
For
like
sure, for
without
sure.
playing.
He's very
Because
yeah, he's very energetic. Yeah,
So
but also
yes,
pulse zones they're different for different people. Yeah,
yeah.
so it's Vidit, what is the do you feel any influence of the Indian chess world now on you? Like what is happening in India with chess? Is it really like we see it? Is it like chess is everywhere and everybody's taking care of chess and the government is taking the companies are organizing something, or is it just some minor changes? I mean, what is going on there?
Um, I think there is a lot of change that is happening. Um, First of all, the players have become much more stronger. The team is very, very strong. So any tournament we play, it's going to be a contender for the top places. And when that is the case, the environment around it gets inspired. So um, the federation or the government are more involved because of this. There is also more private sponsorship than before, I would say. more corporates, they are into chess, which is a very good sign, because I feel chess, it needs new stakeholders in the game. And there were always people who admired chess for a long time, but now they see that it's becoming more clear for them what they can get if they put money into the game of chess. First, it was a bit more abrupt, um, and they also have something to cheer for, follow for. Some are very passionate about the game, let's say in the corporates, and for them it's about, not about just money or a commercial aspect, but it's about, they want someone to become world champion from India, let's say, or India to win gold at, let's say, Asian Games or Olympics if it happens. So that incentive is there. Uh, I think there is still a lack of tournaments in India, which is a big gap. Most of the time, if you see, all the players are traveling to Europe or otherwise to play in events. So this is a big gap. I think Olympiad was a good tournament which happened in India, so it was a good thing. But the closed tournaments are still non-existent. There are open tournaments, but it's not the same. The top level closed tournaments, they make an impact. Let's say when I was in 2002, I was 8 years old or something. There was a World Cup happening in India, in Hyderabad,
2000?
2000, 2002, if I'm not wrong.
Which Anand win? Anand
Yes,
won. It
Anand.
was
Yes,
2000, I think. He won against Sheriff in the
uh,
finals. Yeah.
this one he won against Kasim in the finals.
2002.
If I'm,
So he
yes,
became a world
if I'm
champion
not
in
wrong.
2000, winning this against Sheriff in the finals in 2002. Yeah.
Yeah, 2002.
Okay.
Yes, it was Anand.
Okay.
I checked. So there, as a prize of winning a local tournament, the prize was that I go live and see the finals, and I got to meet Vishy. I got to see him live.
First time.
I got to meet Hari. First time ever. Hari Krishna was there. Sashi Kiran was there. All the Humpy was there. All these players who were like at the top of Indian chess, and that inspired me. I wanted, in as a kid, I felt like, oh, I also want this lifestyle. I also want to become a world champion. So having tournaments in India is important because of that. This effect is not tangible. Like, you cannot feel it instantly, but over a period of time you can see it. So let's say now there are a lot of youngsters doing well, and many who are much more younger, let's say they're 7 or 10 years old, they are going to have them as idols. That is gonna push them to pursue the game of chess. But if they see them live, the impact is much more.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so
For
I
sure.
feel like there should be more tournaments in India. That's a gap, big gap. But otherwise, I see things moving in Indian chess quite a lot.
Was Vishy your idol, or do you, or just chess wise?
I looked up to him. Of course, as I said, I saw him for the first time in 2002. I still have a photo of taking his autograph.
Mm.
Uh, then, um, but the thing was, I that time the knowledge came from chess books. There was no technology, and the only chess books that I had was of Gary, because he was writing quite a lot. From, like, he used to publish his games. He used to annotate it. So I was influenced more by Gary's games because that was the material that was available. But later on, I was exposed more to Vishy's games, and I was like sometimes awestruck. And even now, when I was speaking with Anish in, I think, Isle of Man, we are discussing some game, and we are like, he just plays so effortless. Like, at the age of 50 plus, he played in Armageddon series. Sorry, not Armageddon series, but in Norway, and there were Armageddon matches,
Who?
and he was just playing with hand,
Kasparov?
Vishy,
Vishy. Yes,
Vishy,
Vishy.
like
Yeah.
two
I saw that. Yeah, it was amazing, really amazing.
in Armageddon, where he used to defeat Magnus with having like 3 or 4 minutes extra on the clock. Rajabov, he just defeated like this, like his pieces, or his hand just knows where to put the pieces, and so effortless. So I got exposed to his games much later in my life, um, when I had more access to technology database, because there was only one book which he had written, My Best Games, but I did not have access to it for a very, very long time.
But how can looking at Vishy, do you still think that talent is like 5-10%? I mean,
That's a
playing classical games for 15 minutes when he was young and winning against the best in the world, just crushing Kasparov in like 1992, 93, like precise calculating.
Yeah. No, when you say this, it does make sense. I also used to think that some people are just like winners, they keep winning. They have the habit of winning, like Magnus, Vichy. They're just like natural winners. I also used to think this, Gary. Um, but this is not very inspiring to know that some people are just born with it. I would rather prefer, even if it's wrong, to think that it's a lot of hard work. And I feel that it is, because even now I see that even if Vishy is not playing as much, he's following the games very, very closely. He's up to date with all the latest trends. So this passion for the game, it can't be just a coincidence.
For sure.
It's about hours of efforts that they've put into. We just don't see it many times, and it looks effortless, but I'm sure there is a lot of effort that has gone behind, which is not seen. But I do agree that for some people it just feels more natural, feels so easy that they do it. So I agree. I have not figured it out.
No, but also Vishy, he was playing in my tournament in Amsterdam a few months ago, and he played very well on the first date. He scored like +2, like doing this typical Anand thing, like winning a game, short draw, winning a game, short draw, winning a game, and that's it. So, and in the morning, we were having breakfast. Next day in the morning, we were having our breakfast. And Vishy said that, there are some, Ilya, there are some things that you can't change. So once I finished the fifth game, the last game of the day, I went to my room thinking, okay, here I could get probably, this is a very nice line. I should study that now because tomorrow I'm playing somebody and I should study this line and look at this and prepare. So it will take about 3-4 hours and I'll be ready for tomorrow. And then he said, and then I just laughed at myself. What am I doing? I'm like 50 plus. What the fuck? I mean, what opening preparation? I'll go just have dinner with Kramnik or something. So it's a habit. I mean, it's how he had been living all his life, basically. So
Yeah.
that's the
And his game actually was so beautiful on the
fantastic.
first
Yes,
day.
Queens.
It reminded me of his game against Caruana in Singfield Cup. It was very similar, like the queen sacrifice. In English opening, he gives queen on d4. I think, I'm sure you know this game, but when you see it, probably when you see the position, you'll ring. But no, the game was very beautiful, like just so effortless attack and so smooth.
Interesting. Yeah. So, how do you feel towards the candidates? Do you feel you're up to beating the guys like Nepo, Caruana?
Yeah, I haven't played Fabi that much. I don't think I've ever played him, in fact, in a classical tournament. I played once, I drew. And against Nepo, I have a very good feeling from the World Cup where I managed to beat him. Classical also, I was dominating, and in Rapids as well. So, um, of course, it's sports. Anything can happen on that given day. Um, so the question is, will I be able to play the best I can? And if I can do that, I have no doubts that I can win. But it's sports is about performing on that day, and you have to show up with that. I have the capacity, I have the ability. I have to work on it. I have to be in good shape. I have to do the right things. Then it can happen.
Okay, Vidit, I know we discussed we'll be up to 40 minutes. Thank you very much. It was very nice to meet you. You are the second Indian player I've met, actually, after Vishy. So, yeah, I consider myself to be a friend of Vishy, but it was very nice. I congratulate you on your very, very... It's a very, very good result in this tournament. To win such a tournament, it's a big thing. I think it's even harder than win maybe some regular classical elite tournament like Norway Chess or Vaikanze, because this is a tension is much higher. The stakes are much higher. Yeah, getting into candidates. I wish you success in candidates, and I wish not only success. I really wish you to unleash all your potential. This is the main thing that you should do in the candidates.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you, and also it was very kind of you to reschedule despite
No
the
worries.
schedule changes.
Sure. Thank you very much. Bye bye, Vidit.